Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started.
And auspicious place. Number 3, Swami Ashokanji says, have a place. It also means it could be a corner in your house. It could be a room in your house. A special meditation seat for yourself. The moment, and some people have special clothes. Don't do too much of it, then it will not be possible. And the danger of training yourself too much in this way is when you don't have that seat. And when you don't have that set of clothes, then your mind feels, I'm a little impure, I can't meditate now. It's because of those clothes. No, so this should not become a weakness. It should become a support for meditation. So a special place. Now there are auspicious places. That's why churches, somebody said, I like this room. It has a good vibration. Yes, there's a good vibration. It's like it's a church basically. And there have been some holy thinking, some meditation which has gone on here. So a temple, a church, a meditation hall where people have thought about God or contemplated quietly for a long time. So this meditation hall, this idea spread everywhere, but the way they execute it sometimes, I found in international airport, fantastic. And they say, proudly they will announce, meditation room in such and such place. Meditation and interfaith room. So good, I must go and see. I saw just next to the bathroom. That's the only place they could, because it's low down on the priority.
Well, if you're meditating and all of a sudden you've got to go to the bathroom, you have to go searching for it. It's literally right next door. It's kind of like a bonus too, if you think about it. I mean, there are many places out there where you go to, you're like, oh man, where's the bathroom at? Oh God, I gotta go. I don't know where it's, just thinking positively here.
Big food court is there, big court for all sorts of shiny objects are there, duty free. But in one corner next to the washroom there is a meditation room, because that's not high priority. No, it should be a holy place which has associations. Right time and right place, immediately when you sit down, it's a big support to your mind. And people...
I agree. Obviously, what a lot of people are being distracted in today is electronics and stuff too. So it must be a place where you don't have TVs, radios, your cell phone being the major part, or a tablet. You need to be able to focus. And this is kind of also ties into like sleeping as well, where a lot of people take their cell phone with them to go to sleep. Sleeping like this with the phone. You're not sleeping, you're watching YouTube.
People do feel a vibration. It's not enough to say, just because you've conditioned your mind, this is a holy place, this is a temple, so you'll feel holy there. But that might have something to do with it. But I have seen in Belur Math, our main monastery, thousands of people come. Many people are just like tourists, they're just coming there. I've seen how they enter the gate and they say, ki shanti jaga, wow, what a peaceful place. Now, it's not at all peaceful at that hour. There are thousands of people coming in. But just entering the gate, they feel peaceful. So it's not just association. They are not regular devotees. They have come maybe for the first time in their life. But there is something there. Association with place. Regularity, time, place. One of the most powerful meditations I have is a very simple thing. Year after year, every day in the morning and evening in Belur Math, we have this pranams. We offer our salutations to the temple of Sri Ramakrishna, to the temple in Swami Brahmananda, Ma Sharada's temple, Swami Vivekananda's temple, and the place where the monks are cremated, the direct disciples, the Samadhi Sthal. And it's a routine. Now, because I have done it quietly, attentively, day after day, month after month, year after year, for maybe 12 to 14 years of my life. More than that, 15, 16 years of my life. Now, it's effortless. I can just sit down quietly. I can recall the feel of the pavement below my feet, the stairs as I can climb them. The whole thing is vivid before. Just close my eyes, it's so vivid. The image of Sri Ramakrishna in the temple. It's the cool touch of the marble on my forehead when I bow down. Everything is The tactile, the visual, the feeling around, and the mental feeling inside. It's very clear. Every path, every step of the path to the temple of the Holy Mother, that temple itself, what thoughts come when you go there. Now it's just repetition. Time and place and regularity, and it's a powerful, effortless visualization now. But effortless now because 15, 16 years, it's been repeated every day. So this is the power of repetition.
I will say though, there is a side effect to repetition because a lot of people find that to be boring. So I hope that most people that do repetitive tasks, especially something like this, like meditation and stuff, they don't think of it as, oh, this is something I gotta do again. It's the same thing over and over again for the past year. It's that time again, It's more along the lines of, I guess, focusing on meditation. I don't know how to verbalize it in a positive sense, meaning that I understand the negative sense because, everyday life is repetitive and it's mundane. It's nothing exciting, so it's not something you look forward to. But this is something that he's done for 15 years, and he recollects everything. He cherishes the moment, I assume. It seems like it. He remembers everything about it. And I hope that's what people do when they meditate. I mean, that's something that we have to understand, I suppose, is that don't think of it as something mundane to do, but something to, I won't say excited about. Woohoo, meditation. All right, 3 hours of sitting here. But more along the lines of, I guess, if you see it as a way to better yourself, I guess that's a good way to do it. It's kind of the way like I looked at the manual jobs that I did in my life. I hated the manual jobs. Again, I worked at Walmart, unloaded the trucks. I help unload the trucks. I've unloaded the trucks a few times. It's very demanding. You have to keep up with removing heavy stuff off the trucks onto a belt so that the people down the line can get it. And you have to be on top of that. You're generally by yourself, and everyone else is on the line. And then after unloading the trucks, then you bring this big pallets of heavy stuff on it to wherever they need to go to. And it's terrible. It's hot. You get sweaty. You can get sore. You can get hurt. But the way I looked at it is exercise. So I hope it's a mundane task too. It's something that you do every day. I hated it. I didn't look forward to it. But the second I started, I thought of it as an exercise, like going to the gym. Free gym membership that you get paid for. And I guess that's the way I would probably have to look at this. I hope he says this, but look at it as a way to better yourself. That way it doesn't become, oh, here we go again. 2 hours of meditation. You're looking at it as something to better yourself with. Again, like I was unloading those trucks, I was looking at it as like I was getting a free workout. I get paid to work out.
Regular, time, place. I remember a nice analogy was given to me by a yogi in Gangotri. I was sitting by the river. So we used to go for begging for food, but that was not adequate. So I'd feel hungry. So there were these apples I would pluck from the trees, and I would eat the apples and sit near the river, munching the apples. Now once one yogi came and sat next to me. And the river was in full spate at that time, Ganga. It's narrow and fast there. It was just after the monsoon season, so a lot of water. And he said, Swami, you know what's the difference between a worldly mind and a yogic mind? The mind of the meditator and the one who does not meditate. What is the difference? The difference.
One thinks outwardly, the other thinks inwardly. Just guessing.
Is this. Look at this river. It's full of water and flowing fast. And the water is dirty. And it's dangerous. You can't cross it easily. And if you'll get swept away. Actually somebody had died the day before, had been swept away. Now he says, the water is, but if you come in winter, when you come in winter, the same river, it will be mostly frozen. The higher reaches are frozen. So there's less water and it flows slowly. And it's crystal clear water. Now it's dirty because landslides and a lot of mud has fallen into the water. But at that time it's crystal clear and it's sweet. And it's easy to cross over. Not dangerous at all. So similarly, he says, the non-yogic mind, the non-meditating mind, the worldly mind is like this river right now, full of thoughts, impure thoughts, moving and changing fast, and dangerous. It can, no matter, you don't know where it will take you and what it will make you do. And you can't drink this water, nor can you give it to others, he said. Similarly, that worldly mind, it gives you no peace and gives no peace to those around you. But the yogic mind is that like this same river in winter, there will be fewer thoughts and all controlled and deliberate, just like the water at that time. And the water is not at all dangerous. You can actually walk across. And the water is absolutely clear. You can see through the water to the bottom of the riverbed. Similarly, the yogic mind is so clear and peaceful, you can see through to what lies underneath it. That means, that's a Yoga Sutra actually. It says, the Atman is beyond the mind. So that becomes clear. And it gives you can drink this water, you can give it to others in winter. Similarly, this yogic mind gives you peace, and it gives peace to all others around you also. So very nice comparison he drew between meditating mind and non-meditating mind.
So I was wrong in my guess.
Then next. Thoughts. As you start meditating, you will become aware of thoughts, especially patterns of thinking, habitual patterns of thinking, and what we may call bad thoughts, impure thoughts, disturbing thoughts, negative thoughts. How do you handle them? And somebody said, actually I was quite peaceful earlier. After starting meditation, I've become so disturbed. No, those thoughts were always there. You're not aware of them. You never paid any attention. When you quieten down, sit quietly, they become vivid to you. Another example is, those ink pots were there earlier when you had fountain pens with ink. If you ever tried to wash an ink pot, what will happen is, at first, more and more dark and dirty water will come out, because all the crystallized ink will come out first. Then it will become clearer and clearer until it becomes crystal clear. Similarly, at first negative thoughts come out. The thing is to quietly watch them, not to get carried away, not to get disturbed. Those thoughts are things. They're
I don't think I tried to just watch them. I think every time I had a thought, I tried to put it away instead of observing it. I will try that next time. I will see if it's possible for me to merely observe my thoughts and not think anything about it.
like so much dirt, accumulated patterns of thought. They're not you. They may scare you, but they are not you. Depressing thoughts, negative thoughts, violent thoughts, resentful thoughts. And don't give in to them. Watch them, they will go away. Getting caught up in thought patterns is very dangerous. That's why sometimes when people are mentally disturbed or unsteady, we tell them not to meditate. Meditation can be dangerous for such minds. Because they're not strong enough, and what will come up from inside is so powerful, like a demon, it catches them and takes them away. For such minds, it's much better to get engaged in the world. Do some service, get involved in some activity, creative activity, service activity. Much better.
I would have never thought there are minds out there that can't meditate. I figured meditation could work for everyone. It's kind of strange. I mean, I think it's a work in progress. If you have these kind of thoughts, obviously it's not something that you can, solve in one meditation or one session of anything. It's something that you have to work through. Much like, again, meditation right here. You're not gonna freaking get it the first time around. It's gonna take you a couple of days, weeks, months, years, and that's the same thing with any thought that you have. No matter how, hopefully not so bad, but no matter how bad it is, maybe get a psychologist or psychiatrist, whichever one, psychiatrist actually, to help you with that. I mean, It worked for some people. It's not guaranteed that it's going to work for everyone. But if you think you have some disturbing thoughts, it might be something good that you look into meditation. If you have those thoughts, maybe get a psychiatrist to help you with those thoughts, and then get back into meditation.
So, patterns of thoughts, negative thoughts, do not be swayed by them. Watch them. They will go away. Remember, they will come and they will go away. It will take some time. That the story is there of the Zen master. The student came to the Zen master and he said, if I meditate, all bad thoughts come to my mind. I'm feeling very disturbed. So the teacher said, don't worry. Take a bowl and there are two piles of stones. One pile of, in the Japanese gardens, they have smooth stones, pebbles. So white stones and one pile of smooth black stones. Whenever a thought which disturbs you comes, take a black stone and put it in the bowl. Whenever a thought which is pure and good, uplifting comes to your mind, take a white thought and put it in the bowl. And so sit and watch your mind. And the student did this exercise. At the beginning, the bowl was full of mostly black stones and a few white. Within a few weeks, it was more white stones and a lesser black. By the end of the year, maybe one or two black stones, but mostly white stones.
And there you go. He was working through his thoughts. Hopefully, I don't know if this is something you necessarily want to ignore. Hopefully all these thoughts are in fact temporary in his mind and not something that's being, pushed down and hidden away and not being taken care of. I'm not a psychiatrist, so everyone's a little bit different, obviously, on that. But it's not, bad thoughts are not something that you just want to I'll deal with it later. Generally speaking, you do want to deal with them because you don't want it to pile up. But this is what I hope meditation will do: you to realize those thoughts and to, rationalize them. Think that it's not a good thought, obviously, and hopefully they never arise again. Hopefully they're destroyed through realization that there are bad thoughts, they're not welcome, they're not good, they don't need to be here, they need to be destroyed, and only good thoughts, and that's the only thing that you have. It's not good to put them away and just say you'll deal with it later. It could be festering and growing, and then when you go into the world and something triggers you, and not only does whatever's happening to you is causing you to be emotional or whatever, all of a sudden this thing that you put away kind of festers up and adds on to whatever stress you already have, and it's not healthy. So hopefully that's why I'm genuinely hopefully meditation, this is how I looked at meditation, by the way. It's a way to clear your mind and to kind of de-stress, think about things. This is basically the Western idea of meditation.
Over time, as the mind calms down, it becomes more sattvic, pure. Now, bad company. Swami Ashokananda says a very powerful impact on your mind is bad company. Company of whose company you keep. Bad company, it's not pejorative in the sense of that person is bad. Not in that sense. A person may be very worldly. And if you keep company with such a person, knowingly or unknowingly, one might think, I'm very clever, I will not be affected. But if you live in a house of soot, then some black mark will come on your clothes. So be careful whose company you keep. If you actually start, one advantage is, if you actually start practicing spiritual disciplines, such people will move away from you. They'll say, oh, that person has become so boring. One Swami said, if you are being bothered by thugs, by crooks, you can't fight with them. They're violent people. What do? Start keeping company with the police. If the crooks see that you are hanging around with the police, they will keep away from them. So keep holy thoughts in your mind, the other thoughts will keep away. Our mind is basically, it's beyond our control now. The Swami Nishrayashanji used to give a nice example. He said, our condition, our mind is, we do not know our own minds. We think it's my mind, so I can do whatever I want. I can think. Right now I am entertaining some not so good worldly thoughts, but when I want I can think about God very easily. Not so easy. We are very unaware of the strengths of our own mind. We are aware of our physical strength. Can you run the New York Marathon? No, I'm not in shape. Can you lift 200 pounds weightlifting? No, I cannot do that. We are aware of our physical limitation. Can you sit in meditation for 30 minutes? Yeah, what's wrong? It's so easy. It isn't. Our mental mind also has capacity, and it also takes training. So Nishreshanji used to give this example. Suppose you have an apartment in some other city, and your friend comes and says, "Can I stay in your apartment a few days? I'm going to that city for some work." And you say, "Yeah, I have a caretaker is there. I'm going to give you this note. He is my friend. Please let him stay in my apartment for a few days." You go to present that note, they will let you stay. Your friend goes and rings the bell. A few rough-looking characters come out and say, "What? I'm going to stay here." Says who? No, this is the owner of the apartment. He has given a note, see? And that guy takes the note and tears it up and then catches your friend and throws him out on the street. Now, will you still say the apartment is yours? It may be legally yours, but practically it has been taken over by squatters or somebody else has come and taken over.
Yeah, I was going to say, legally, technically speaking, it is yours.
Similarly, our mind has become so used to worldly thoughts, desirous thoughts, envious thoughts, angry thoughts, resentful thoughts, thoughts of suspicion, all to do with the world. That when now you say, "I have taken mantra from the Guru," the mantra has to remain in my mind. You tell the mantra, "Hey, it's my mind, don't worry, go in there." Here's the note. Guru says, mantra has to remain here. I say, my mind, mantra will remain here. Go in there, and then these rough thoughts come out, and yes, what do you want? The poor mantra says, "I have to stay here. Ram, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." And those fellows, they catch hold of envy, anger, resentment, hatred, desire, suspicion. They catch hold of the poor mantra and throw it out. Go. That's what happens. Because of bad patterns of thinking that can be replaced, and bad company. Bad company encourages, brings out these tendencies, which are already there in our mind. It just brings out. Exactly the opposite happens. Holy company.
I was going to say, that's not a bad analogy, and you practicing the mantra however often, hopefully every day, that it in terms of the analogy, that they're going to get tired and just going to let you in because they're tired of answering the door, they're tired of throwing you out, and you being very persistent. They'll finally give in and let the mantra or you in to the house, and that's how you get a foothold in there.
It brings out the good. We all have good samskaras. We all have sattvic samskaras. Holy company is very powerful. That's the last point he will say, so I'm not talking about it now. But one of the most powerful things I've seen, spiritual practice, holy company. But Swami Ashokanji himself was humorous about it. He would talk often about that. So one lady wrote to him, "Swami, I am convinced about the power of holy company, so I want holy company." And the Swami wrote back to her, the letters are still there. "Madam, I am glad to know that you want holy company, but the question is, do the holy want your company?" He was joking, of course. Then the next one is, so be careful of the company you keep. Good company is good. If you don't get good company, then no company is good. And solitude is better. Solitude is very good. One sadhu put it very nicely. Solitude, the ajnani, the ignorant man, the man of the world is terrified of solitude. Alas, I am alone, nobody likes me, I am lonely, I am unhappy. Just think about it. When you are alone and you are unhappy, what does it mean? It means...
Hold on. When you're alone and unhappy, what does it mean? You're craving a desire. You're wanting worldly needs, I suppose. Because... Well, to keep it simple, you want worldly needs, that being worldly friendship, that you yourself is not good enough. You have to have someone else there.
I am not happy in my company. Then why would anybody else be happy in my company? I don't like my own company. Then why would anybody else? And nobody likes me. Do you like yourself? No. I asked a sadhu, and then that sadhu said, but the opposite is the jnani, for whom solitude is the highest state. In fact, the definition of moksha in the Yoga Sutras, kaivalya, aloneness. That is moksha, that's liberation. Nothing to be scared of. Aloneness with a capital A. I think, who said it? Probably Plotinus, I think. What is spirituality? It's the journey of the alone to the alone. Alone with small a, capital A. Alone. Journey of the alone to the alone. Solitude, not loneliness. Ajnani is lonely. Spiritual person enjoys solitude. I asked a sadhu who lived in the high Himalayas, very happy. He was a Punjabi sadhu. Tall, powerfully built, long hair, white dress up to his ankles. And there were these little kids who would come and play in the ashram, and he would have this uproarious laughter. Very nice. Now one day I asked him, now it's summertime and all these people are visiting and it's beautiful. And there were snows in the higher peaks, but that place there was no snow. It was a very nice place to stay. But what happens in winter when everybody goes away and you are alone for 6 months? Nobody is there. And there is snow. Remember, there's snow. If it's minus 15 outside, it's also your bed is also minus 15. There's no internal heating and external. There's no difference between inside and outside, unless you have a stove going or something. So it's tough, and it's absolutely you're helpless, set to yourself. There's nobody around. And that's when the wolves and the bears start prowling, because the higher mountains, there's no prey for them. So they come down lower, looking for things to eat. So how do you stay at that time when you're absolutely alone? And his answer was very beautiful. I still remember. He chuckled and he said, Swami, when now I am happy, at that time I am happier, happiest. He said in Hindi, महात्मा जी अब मजे में हूँ, तब और भी मजे में हूँ, तब और भी मजे में रहता हूँ. मजे में means in real happiness. I am happy now, and at that time I am even happier. That's a sign of a truly mature mind. Are you comfortable with your solitude?
Yeah, that is not that bad. I was trying to think of something. I have lived alone for a short period of time, and I was perfectly content. Trying to think. Would I have been happy with someone? I think so. But I guess the whole point is the fact that can you be happy by yourself? Which I can be. Now, I have to have something to do though. I don't think I can not do anything and be happy. That might be, and I think that's where the difference is where you can be happy even by not doing anything else. And I can do that to a certain extent, but it's a very short amount of time. And I do believe that is also another level of, being happy alone is fine. Because you have something to do, you can take your mind away from a lot of things. But being happy alone and being happy being alone and not doing anything and still having those is the level I believe he's talking about as well.
Then the next one Swami Ashokanji says is sixth point is asceticism. Asceticism, that is some austere living. In Sanskrit it's called tapasya. Tapasya means in matters of sleep, comfort, enjoyment, food, company, entertainment. You don't be severe on yourself, that's not sustainable. The good rule which I have found is whatever you are comfortable with in all these matters, make it a little less. Tighten it a little bit. So there will be some resistance from the body, there will be some resistance from the mind, and that's good. Don't immediately, if you're used to getting up at when I say 7 o'clock, then don't immediately say, I'll get up at 3:40 because the Swami said so. But that will last only for 2 days, and then next day it'll be 9 o'clock.
Gradual.
No, but a little better, little more, little earlier than you're used to. At items of food, wherever the mind relaxes and tries to let go, loosen, there tighten it up a little bit. Little bit of fasting is good, not too much. A little bit of fasting. Don't fast to the extent that, see, the purpose of all this asceticism is to make the mind concentrated, powerful, so that you can think of God. Your mind and body comes under control. But if you deprive it too much and too fast, then the mind will keep thinking about what you have deprived it of. One monk in Gangotri, I still remember, he told me, remember when they talk about asceticism and tapasya, that's pretty austere. They're already leading a pretty austere life by our standard. One monk said, every day when he used to live in a cave, now he has an ashram, but he used to live in a cave when he was young. He was also Punjabi. He said, I would go every day there was a place where they would give monks milk. So I would go for a glass of milk. But you have to go over hill and dale to get it, maybe 45 minutes of walk on the mountains. He said, I'm wasting 45 minutes for a glass of milk. Why not give it up?
Wasting? I figured that would be a perfect time to enjoy nature, and also maybe to practice things that doesn't necessarily require you to do physically. I guess like what Osho has said, it's like I can separate myself from my body, and I'm in a meditative state. You can practice that meditation, at least the control of thoughts, I believe, and the way to control your actions, how to be observant of your actions, of your body, and your thoughts and your emotions. That's something you could do in those 45 minutes. Again, I guess Dandapani has said, like, find a way to, I forget what his phrasing was, is find a way to practice whatever it is you're doing as whatever you're doing. So again, you can, it's very odd, but to meditate while working, that is probably very difficult. But to practice what you want to do on top of other things, multitasking basically. Now, I don't know what people are capable of. I don't know if it's possible for everything, but if you can include it, that'd be time well spent.
And just use that 45 minutes or 1 hour, 45 minutes going, 45 minutes coming back. Use that 1.5 hours for meditation. And decided, I will do that. And he did it. And he was humorous. He says, "Dhyan karenge, doodh peena se chhod de, we'll give up that. I don't need that glass of milk. I'll meditate." Then he said, "So monks, we are all sitting around. I did exactly that. I did that. I meditated on milk." So the next day I sat down to meditate. I am meditating. What am I thinking? Good, I have given up. See how great. I have got 1.5 hours to meditate. Then perhaps it's not necessary to give up for all 7 days of the week. Maybe one day I can go and 6 days I can meditate. Then he said, it's much better to go and have the glass of milk and come back and meditate and then think about that. So for asceticism also that. Remember, common sense. So Shivaratri, I remember fasting. I never fasted earlier. The first time I fasted was when I became a monk on Shivaratri. And so you get some fruits in the afternoon. But otherwise, no food, no breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, whole night puja. Next day in the morning, you get food again. But in the afternoon, you get some fruits. So I never ate so many fruits. Not because I was hungry, in anticipation of being hungry. Maybe I'll be hungry. You won't be. Not really. So that's what happens. That's the mind. I still remember this poor young man. He was a teacher of mathematics. And he went to a Swami very proudly and he said, "Tomorrow is Shivaratri. I will also fast. Can I also fast?" And the Swami, I still remember, he said, "What kind of question is that? 10-year-old little children are going to fast. Aren't you ashamed of asking such a question? Am I going to fast or not? Of course you're going to fast.
Oh, okay.
And you should have seen the poor man's face. It became so, he looked so miserable. In Bengali, he said, "Chi chi chi, bolte ho lajja karlo na." You didn't have no shame in saying such a thing. Little boys are going to fast, and you are asking whether I will fast or not. So, asceticism. In Vedanta, it's called titiksha. One way of practicing asceticism is putting up with the troubles in life. In spite of little illness, I will still meditate. I remember I was very ill once. I was on IV, intravenous, in the hospital. I thought, okay, I was a novice. I thought, okay, I'm really ill, sick, and some people thought I might die. So I guess it's excused. I can sort of lie down in my bed and do a little bit of mantra japa. I don't have to sit up and meditate. So, and to my everlasting big lesson, another Swami who was in his 70s or 80s, he had come for an operation. An operation was done. He was sedated and anesthesia. He was wheeled in. He was transferred to the bed. He slept that night. Next in the morning, before dawn, I saw that Swami was, as usual, up, facing the wall, sitting like this, like a rock, and meditating for 2-3 hours at a stretch. This 80-year-old man, nearly 80-year-old man, who had just had an operation the day before, is up and meditating. Whatever the troubles in life, I will pursue my spiritual practice. That is a good asceticism. Sickness in life, anxiety is there in life, sorrow is there in life. Such tremendous stories are there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, he used to go every night. There would be some devotee's house. The Vaishnavas would gather, led by Sri Chaitanya, and they would be singing of the name of Rama and Krishna and uproarious chanting of the name of Krishna and Rama and dancing. Chaitanya would go into samadhi and dance, and they would surround him. So it's called Utsava, festival of the holy name. And this very senior devotee of his, he organized that. That day, his son died, and he got the information, and he suppressed it from everybody, including his wife, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to his house. And so the festival should go on. And the festival went on. This old man with tears in his eyes, he still sang the name of Rama and Krishna and danced with the devotees and happily fed them, and everything went on perfectly. He knew the pain in his heart, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew. So when he embraced that man, the both of them went into samadhi, because he knew. So that putting up, that's an extreme case, putting up with the sorrows of the world because of my love for God. That's a test that God puts us through. That kind of, you see, what kind of concentration that will bring. So, but again, common sense. This example I've given earlier, 2 novices I knew, 2 extremes. One is, I have to put up with all sorts of pains and struggles, so he has got a knee pain, and he's sitting in the class, I'm teaching, he goes like, what happened? Pain in the knee. And get it treated. No, I'm putting up with it. Titiksha is. Then he's meditating. Everybody's sitting in the meditation hall, he's sitting like this and meditating. He can't bend his knee. Now what is the use? You're meditating on your knee. You're supposed to meditate on God. Don't do that. Remember the first arrow and second arrow. Spirituality is meant for removing the second arrow. The first arrow, you take help. Medicine, whatever is the problem, the equivalent help, as much as you can get. Will work to some extent, will not work. There are problems which cannot really be cured. Yeah.
So actually that example is perfect. Like he was talking about earlier, there are people out there who have these thoughts that are very dark and troublesome. And like I was saying, that I'm hoping meditation can work for them, but understandably sometimes these things are probably external, like he's saying about the first arrow and second arrow. I do remember him explaining that. Actually, I don't remember if it was him or someone else, but I do remember him now. So basically, the psychiatrist is the one that can take away that first arrow for you. Again, thoughts and stuff like that. The outer worldly thoughts is definitely something that psychiatrists could work for you. And then once that first arrow is removed, go back into meditation to get that second arrow removed. I wish he said that a bit earlier about like the people who have these really bad thoughts. There is psychiatry work now.
You have to put up with them. So first arrow is always like that. The second arrow is the really important thing. So that's one extreme. The other extreme is another young monk. He got stomach pain, a novice, and he used to get worried. Now it's going to hurt. He stopped eating properly, became skinnier, and we took him to doctors. Treatment was going on. There was no effect, no response to the medicines. Then finally I told him, don't worry about it. That worrying was killing him. If the pain comes, it will come. We are going to good doctors. Treatment has started. Things are being done. Now resign yourself to God and concentrate on what you have come here for. To your study and meditation and all of that. And he was a very good monk. He did exactly that. And I'm so happy that years later he wrote a postcard from another ashram. Maharaj, that stomach pain I had, it's finally gone. There have been months and months, it has not come back again. But the good advice was, now that things are being done, taken care of, you concentrate on God. Don't concentrate on stomach pain. No knee pain meditation, no stomach pain meditation. Meditation on God only. So balance in both.
I wonder what was wrong with him. I hope he's all right. I mean, well, he obviously said it's okay. I hope it didn't just disappear, but it's still there. It went to recession. I hope he's doing okay.
Number 7, yes. What I told you earlier, that when you enter the hall, come to the presence of God, sit down for meditation. I am God. Not I as father. I'm worried about son and daughter. Not I as mother, not I as husband, wife, I as corporate executive, will I be laid off? What will my boss think of me? What about the deadline? No, I am not coming to God as a corporate executive, as father, mother, son, not as person who's, what is happening to the stock price on Wall Street? No, everything, like the shoes you cast off before entering a temple, you cast off all identities. Somebody pointed out, busy, tension, so much responsibility. Huge, New York, just outside New York, in Queens, you have huge graveyard, cemetery. Those were among the busiest people in the world. Now look at them. Think you are like that. Nothing in the world depends on you. Nothing in the world depends on you. Nothing in the world depends on us. Don't worry. When you're taking care, when you're trying to catch hold of God, that's when the mind plays tricks. We have got so many other responsibilities. Yes, only mind thinks about responsibilities only when you ask it to think about God. Other times, no. So, feel completely detached from all the roles of your life. I approach God with Ashokanji says beautifully, approach God with a sense of eternity. Look back upon your life. This day in your life, no matter what the tension, what the fear, 20 years later, 40 years later, when you look back upon this day in your life, it will be a small thing. Some memory, mostly will be forgotten. Then why give importance to it now? Mahatma Gandhi, you see in the most intense moments of political struggle, great tension, when all the other leaders, Nehru or others, are in tension, what is going to happen for the freedom struggle. He is regular about his meditation, about his prayer. I read something very nice. Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, Martin Luther, the founder of the Protestant movement, very nice thing is written, that every day I spend an hour on my knees praying to God. And when I have no time at all, too much work, I spend 2 hours on my knees praying to God. So, come to God with a feeling of eternity, detached from everything. Only I and thou, my Lord, and nothing else. And that is the truth. All the others, like a cloud. Every day in the night when you go to sleep, where are responsibilities? Where is father, mother, husband, wife, children? Where? Where is stock price? Nothing. It all disappears.
Well, actually stockbrokers probably in bed are non-stop thinking about stock prices. I wouldn't put it past them, especially those who are devoted to it. They are non-stop thinking about stock prices, because I think some of them are even probably crapping their pants with the way stock prices have gone recently, even in their bed. Ooh.
Any guarantee that we will wake up tomorrow? No guarantee. No guarantee.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. So, this is part 2, and again, I do want to go back to that example about the 2 arrows, and about hopefully getting people out there who don't think, or maybe have a lot of issues. I do believe there are help out there to get you into meditation. It's just a matter of time, or trying, for that matter. For me, it is trying. It is genuinely trying. I need to try. And the joke that I always go back to is Brian Regan. Whenever he had to go to an eye doctor, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to play that part. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's I'm just going to do the exact section I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and watch this.
I'm wearing new contacts. I just had my prescription changed after 6 years. You ever wait that long? Then you get new lenses. You're like, man, I could have been seeing things. How can instantly improved vision not be at the top of your to-do list? I'll see tomorrow. I don't have time. I don't have time to see clearly. No, I don't. No, I can't do that. You see what's on my desk?
Exactly, right there. You see what's on my desk? And this is the thing that I don't know, I was talking about how, how is instantly improving your life not on the top of your to-do list? I'll improve my life tomorrow. I'll be happy tomorrow. Well, I don't know what it is. What's the next? Happy, improved life, see better, have well-being. I'll do that tomorrow. Exactly what it says. And this is what it is, basically. Meditation or taking part into this and just seeing what it does in my life. If it does in fact improve my life, I do believe it would work. And it may not be in the same sense as perhaps the ultimate goal of it, but I do think that there would be a positive impact. I do believe that you start off your day at the very least refreshed with a clear mind and a focused mind as well. This is something that Dandapani has tried to push. Well, he's doing, I believe, it's the fact of focusing, and yeah, I do believe in that. And meditation in the morning when you get up, I think that helps. Now, obviously, it's not going to work right away. It's like people who have an addiction to something; they can't just quit right away. They have to slowly reduce the intake of whatever they're addicted to. Like smoking, you smoke a pack a day. Maybe at the end of 1 week, just have 1 cigarette at the end of every day. Then the next week, 2 cigarettes, 3, and at least is a gradual decrease in that. Same thing like what Swami Sarvapriyananda was talking about, how it's a gradual increase in terms of how you meditate. The first day you're gonna be disturbed, you're gonna have all these thoughts like, I gotta get up early, I gotta go cook breakfast, I gotta go do my paperwork. All these things are gonna be there, but be consistent, do it every day, and hopefully it'll work. There's no guarantee in life like he was talking about, but at least give it a good effort, give it a try, and don't just do it for a month. I don't think it works like that. So anyways, that's my reaction for this part, and this is still the first video. There's another one that's like an hour and some odd long, so this is going to be quite a long series. So if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.